Fats Russell and Rhode Island look to steal a win on the road as they finish up their non-conference schedule. While Charles Bassey leads the Hilltoppers as they look to make it 3 in a row at home. Time to tip off college basketball on CBS Sports Network. It is a cold day outside EA Diddle Arena in Bowling Green, Kentucky, but inside we're ready to heat things up in a non-conference matchup between the Rhode Island Rams and the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Welcome inside the studio, Ryan Burr with former UCF captain Mike O'Donnell. And Mike, a non-conference game that could go a long way for the winner and the loser deciding their postseason fate.
No question. Western Kentucky picked to win Conference USA. They have enough talent to be top 25 in the country. Rhode Island kind of exceeding expectations in an already loaded Atlantic 10.
If you like point guard play, you will love our matchup today. We got two good ones that will go toe to toe. When you look at Rhode Island, it all starts and ends, Mike, with this guy, Fats Russell.
No question about it. Fats Russell is one of the most electrifying players in all of college basketball. It's not just his defense, but his offense. He's got a huge target on his back. Double, triple team almost every single game he plays in, still getting 16 a game.
Yeah, he'll go 100 miles an hour. It will be fun to watch all afternoon. On the other side, Charles Bassey gets so much attention, but Tavion Hollingsworth can flat fill it up.
He's the heart and soul of this team. He's going to go down as one of the greatest players in the history of Western Kentucky basketball. A great shiftiness to his game. This is the point guard matchup that all college basketball geeks love to watch.
I can't wait. Going to be a good one for sure at EA Diddle Arena. Two teams certainly that both think they will be playing in March. It is Rhode Island, it is Western Kentucky, and it's coming up next right here on CBS Sports Network.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. By Tostitos. Get to the good stuff. And by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above.
Going along, it will be Fats Russell to do everything point guard. Shepard, Martin, Walker, and Mitchell is identical to manner. Well, and Mitchell, pay attention to that. 42-21. The Hilltoppers, Anderson, Hollingsworth, Williams, and Bassey. Ready to roll here. Two teams, I think, that like to get it up and down. What do you expect early tempo?
I actually think Western Kentucky will probably slow it down. Rhode Island likes to create offense through their defense. The more that Western Kentucky can take the shot clock down in the half court, I think will frustrate a ball pressure type defense that the Rams like to utilize. You know, point guard play is important, Ryan, but pay attention to Carson Williams of Western Kentucky. He lit up Rhode Island last year in overtime, had 26 points. We'll see if they have an answer. Second in the country in steals last season. Yeah, that's a pocket pass you have to make. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit more zone for Western Kentucky than normal. Boston College really frustrated Rhode Island's offense when they were in zone. Don't be surprised to see the Hilltoppers in a little 2-3 matchup zone as the game progresses. There's a little zone for Rhode Island. And that's what Western Kentucky does best, right? They are so good at getting to the free throw line. Made free throws are actually the bread and butter of Western Kentucky the last few years. They make more free throws than their opponents even attempt.
So apologize for some technical difficulties as we, like everyone else here in 2020, experiencing the problems that come with the social distancing and trying to get a college basketball game underway. So first point of the game as Western Kentucky is on the board. And both these teams obviously understand the importance of a non-conference game with two mid-majors that want to play in March. Shooting has been a problem for the Rams, and as has been turnovers. So some trouble early on here and some trouble there. Both teams having some difficulty taking care of the basketball. Two of the better defensive teams in the land, and that's what we're seeing right now, a defensive struggle. Hollingsworth and Russell, they will go toe-to-toe. And Tavion, no. Mitchell inside, quality rebound, and he'll draw the foul on Carson Williams. Let's take a look at the head coach of the Rhode Island Rams. It is David Cox in his third year after 4 years as an assistant with Danny Hurley, who now runs the UConn Huskies. 3 out of 4 years with 20 wins at Rhode Island. Is this program they recruit and they take transfers, and it's proved to be a good recipe. Fats in the lane. And we got a foul on the play as both teams kind of feeling each other out here. As you said, Carson Williams had a monster game a year ago in an overtime affair at Rhode Island. Hope to have Mike's microphone back in a second. As we continue to work out our difficulties, we'll bring you the play-by-play. Antoine Walker, no, and there's your nation's leading rebounder, Charles Bassey, high off the glass. Yet to see a field goal in this game. Both teams struggling offensively, and the turnover bug continues for Western Kentucky, and they give it right back. That kind of start, ice cold inside the arena. Who scores first? That's the question now. Hollingsworth in the lane, and we got a field goal. All right, Western Kentucky. You know, if you saw Rhode Island against Wisconsin, really struggled in the first half, just 16 points offensively. And they've been a team of two halves. Really struggled in the first and have been a second half team. Martin from downtown, no good. Now the Hilltoppers will look to push. Anderson in the full court, and he'll head to the free throw line. So head coach Rick Stansberry and the Hilltoppers pitching a shutout here at home. They've been a heck of a team on their home floor. 49-12. 21-4 in the non-conference is Stansberry at home. Turnovers really piling up for both clubs, 5 combined. So Stansberry has, as you might expect, coming from the SEC, he's been able to bring in some blue chip talent to Bowling Green. And his pub out fast now with the early advantage. Some full court pressure. Jeremy Shepard. See if he could take some of the pressure off of Fats Russell. And Harrison, Rhode Island. You know, Rhode Island will go deep. They will go 8, 9, 10 players if necessary. Coach Cox not afraid to empty the bench, try to find the hot hand. And another turnover from Rhode Island. Western Kentucky now pushing the other way. See if the Rams can't push the pressure, try to get an easy one and get on the scoreboard. Shepard. Martin in the lane, off the glass. And still 0 on the board for the Rams. An inability to find the basket early on. Over 4 minutes in, yet to score a point. And it's another turnover. So both teams trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure it out as well. It's 2020, folks. We're back after this. Welcome back. EA Diddle Arena on the campus of the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Some technical difficulty here. Rhode Island's waiting for us to get this figured out. 5:15:43. And let's take a look at today's Casper player profile. It is Charles Bassey. Coming out of high school, absolutely one of the best players in the country, and he has not disappointed. Freshman of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. He currently leads the NCAA in block shots and total rebounds. He will play at the next level. The question is, can he develop a little bit more of an outside shot? That would be the difference maker that would take Bassey from into the first round, into the lottery, if he can consistently knock down the 15 to 25 foot shot. Look out. But he has all the tools. There is no doubt about that. A supreme athlete that we'll see on display. Kickball. Eighth all-time at Western Kentucky in block shots, and he'll just continue to fly up that leaderboard as he is a monster in the paint. Rhode Island having a tough time getting the ball even on the rim, as turnovers have been the key early on. See if Fats Russell can't get something started. 5 on the shot clock. Russell will have to create from deep. And it will be the Hilltoppers looking to go the other way. So Rhode Island still scoreless. 5 minutes in. Hollingsworth in the lane. Got it. Tavion Hollingsworth comes in just about 17 a game. Heard Mike O'Donnell in the open talk about being one of the all-time great players at Western Kentucky. They'll look to push again and head back to the free throw line. So Western Kentucky having their way. Josh Anderson, a fluid forward, 6'6". Mike and I talked about, what would the tempo be? Well, certainly when you can't score like Rhode Island can't, it provides some open court opportunities, and that's what Western Kentucky is taking advantage of right now. So 8-0 early on. And the Hilltoppers make a living at the free throw line, 20th in the nation in free throws made. Bassey will get a breather. Rhode Island averages over 76 points a game. They need to get things going to get to 7 points today. It is 9-0 Both coaches emptying the bench, trying to find the right lineup. Once again, it is Western Kentucky with a little token full court pressure. Looks to be 1-2-2. Jalen Carey, the Syracuse transfer, into the game for the Rams. Trapped in the corner. And finally, the Rams on the board. DJ Johnson knocking down the triple. He has that in his arsenal. And the Rams off the schneid. Similar problems for Rhode Island against Wisconsin. Said just 16 points in the first half against the Badgers. Anderson flying to the basket again, no good. And it is a shot clock violation. So Rhode Island getting it done with defense. Seeing if they can't build on the Johnson triple. And there's a steal. And it will be Western Kentucky basketball. Jalen Carey. Part of the reason it didn't work out at Syracuse was he had a difficult time handling the basketball. A lot of turnovers, and we just saw him get trapped on the other side of half court and then promptly turns it over again. So 4 turnovers early on. Flying to the basket and good. And once again, you got to give it to Western Kentucky, taking advantage. McKnight with the layup. Now it's Makai Mitchell. Strong to the basket, no good. Frampton tries to knock down the 3. Instead, it will be Rhode Island basketball. So sloppy first half for sure. Injury on the court. It is Makai Mitchell. As his brother looks on. Hope they just bang knees, and he's obviously in a great deal of pain. We will be right back after this timeout. And we are back. Ryan Burr and Mike O'Donnell. Mike, let's bring you in here. I've been carrying the load here, my friend.
I heard you were going to be really selfish this broadcast, and it was just all your fault, man. You wanted all the screen time, huh?
I have not passed the basketball, but now I'm willing to do so. Scary moment out on the court here. I was hoping that it was a bang knee situation for Makai Mitchell and his twin brother there trying to help him off the court, but it appears to be more than that. And not what Rhode Island needed. It has been a difficult start. 7 minutes in. Mike, why don't you give us a little recap here? Obviously just the 1-3 from Johnson scoring, which has been at times a problem for Rhode Island, really showing its face here today.
I think some of the pressure defense by Western Kentucky has really bothered Rhode Island, which is surprising. I thought they'd be able to handle some of the pressure Coach Dansbury talked about. You know, we might press a little bit, but it may not be that intense ball pressure that we normally play. It might be more relaxed 1-2-2 zone press, and it's bothering Rhode Island. I mean, you mentioned earlier Jalen Carey, dribbled right into the trap twice for a couple turnovers, and it's just something that this game, sometimes these noon games for the road team, it takes 7-8 minutes to get into the flow of it. The problem is, when you face an offensive juggernaut like the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers offense can be, you can't take 7-8 minutes to get yourself into the ball game. This could be a tough hole to climb out of.
Rawls, Frampton, McKnight, Cozart, Harris, Russell, Walker, Carey, and Johnson for the Rams. 0 for 6 from the field is how Rhode Island started. They are now just 1 of 8 with 5 turnovers. So you really couldn't script a worse beginning. And now they have to dig their way out. Another missed 3. Now 1 of 9 from distance.
But that's good offense. Goes inside out. You had good pick and roll action. You got an open 3 look. You know, if you're Coach Cox, you're not worried or upset about that possession. That might, even though it's a missed shot, that's one of the better half-court possessions for Rhode Island.
And Fats Russell really yet to be involved, Mike, with the offense. The guy that we kind of say does everything. He's yet to really get on track at all, even shooting the basketball. Carey.
Western Kentucky's doing a really good job on pressuring all ball screen action. It's an extremely hard hedge.
And Carey tries to get the friendly roll. Now 1 of 10 is Rhode Island. A disastrous start for the Rams, and a steal. Fats Russell. And he gets on the board, doing it with the defense, Mike.
Sometimes you have to simplify your game. Okay, we're not getting buckets in the half court. I'm going to turn up the defensive juice, and I'm going to make a play. And Fats Russell is the guy that will always make that play for Rhode Island when they're struggling.
You know, 2 of 11 from the field, only down 6. I guess you take it. And Western really not taking advantage of just how bad Rhode Island has been. Air ball from the Hilltoppers, and now it is the Rams looking to make a bit of a push.
Rhode Island's turning the ball over, but they're also a very good half-court defensive team. Their ball pressure can really frustrate teams, and that's a great drive.
And Harris driving to the bucket and showing some real skill. You probably missed the fans here a little bit on the home court as you try to get some momentum and get things going. It's another brick. And both teams really struggling offensively. Carey now looks inside. Nice pass to Johnson.
That's a play I think Johnson should have went right back up to the rim and looked to draw on a foul.
Carey, tough shot. Got it. Jalen Carey.
My goodness, that shades of Ryan Burr back in high school. I mean, that's a fadeaway J along the baseline. High degree of difficulty.
So 6-0 run now for Rhode Island. All of a sudden we got a 2-point game. It is Western Kentucky that's really struggling from the field. And no Hollingsworth, no Bassey.
I mean, what have you noticed in the last few minutes for Western Kentucky and their offense? It's been a little bit stagnant with Tavion Hollingsworth not on the floor. That has a tendency to happen with this Western Kentucky team.
Another turnover. Carey tries to get it back. And numbers going the other way, but yeah, that's off the knee. It is Rhode Island basketball. So sloppy first 10 minutes, Mike.
It does feel like Rhode Island needs some juice, and I bet Coach Cox is going to get him fired up in this timeout.
Welcome back. First half action here on CBS Sports Network. 10:08 to go. Ryan Burr, Mike O'Donnell, a little reset here. Both clubs really struggling offensively. Rhode Island, though, picking up play, getting back into this game with their defense.
Yeah, started ice cold, but then Fats Russell, second in the country in steals last season, makes a big play to kind of ignite a mini run for Rhode Island. And then this fadeaway jumper. You could see nothing easy except for that steal by Fats Russell. Nothing easy for Rhode Island. A lot of credit goes to Western Kentucky's defense, but Rhode Island needs to do a better job in the half court. Not just taking shots, but taking care of the basketball, period.
So a little more full court pressure here, Mike. You're right. Rhode Island doesn't mind an ugly, sloppy game, do they?
No, I don't think so. The problem is they haven't shot the 3 ball very well. So if you're trying to come back into this game, you need to find a way to manufacture more 3-point shooting.
And it should have been a dunk there. Instead, it's another turnover. See if Bassey can't get going. There he is, the big man. So talented.
You know, that's such a difficult shot. You keep the ball above your head. It's not practiced by most players. And so you don't think that the offensive player is going to shoot the ball if he just keeps it above his head. But Bassey actually does that a couple times a game.
Johnson from downtown, 2 for 2.
X factor for the Rams is DJ Johnson, the junior. He is capable from the 3-point line. Shot 43% last year at Williston State.
He's 6 of 18 coming into the season from 3. He's 2 for 2 today, and now the Rams down just 1.
Good hedge and help by Rhode Island's half-court defense. This is the most active I've seen them so far in this game.
Frampton for 3. Now no one can miss.
That's the guy. Frampton can start knocking down 3-point shots consistently. This team changes their offensive complexity completely.
Shepard with a 3. And Bassey, a little careless there, and Carey nearly picked the pocket.
Luke Frampton is such a huge key for Western Kentucky. If he's consistently knocking down threes, think of the pressure that takes off of Charles Bassey and Tavion Hollingsworth. It extends the floor. It allows Hollingsworth to be even more creative in pick and rolls. The tag man can't always shade to Bassey on the pick and roll because you're worried about the three-point shot. And that's that. You know, we talked about the X factor for Rhode Island. The X factor for Western Kentucky is Luke Frampton.
There he is again. Frampton from deep, in and out, no good. So 0 for 2 from behind the arc. Shepard looks to push the other way. Nearly stolen. Rhode Island retains. Antoine Walker from downtown. Another offensive rebound. It's Leggett. Shepard again. Got it.
You very rarely make those threes where you catch, gather, wait, and don't shoot it in rhythm. It's a good shot by Shepard. If he's made, you know, that's another guy. He's over 50% from the three-point line. It's a great way to manufacture more points. I'd like to see Jeremy Shepard be more aggressive offensively.
Hollingsworth into the game, and he stays ice cold. Now Rhode Island a chance to take their first lead of the game. It's Carey. Oh, and Bassey rejects it.
You can't try that. You can't try that, Ryan Berg.
Hollingsworth the other way, and that is just beautiful defense leading to offense.
Yeah, that is Western Kentucky basketball. A monster block by Charles Bassey, who's leading the country in block shots, initiates the half court. Pretty ball.
So Rhode Island chance to have their first lead of the game. Instead, it's a block by Bassey. Hollingsworth the other way. Shepard now in the paint.
Pretty pass.
Antoine Walker, the Georgetown transfer, over Bassey.
Well, that's, I mean, you're Shepard, you're falling out of bounds. That little touch pass underneath is dangerous.
Beautiful pick and roll. And you got to give it to Josh Anderson with the one-hand flush.
Well, he's the highlight reel of college basketball that you don't know enough about. I mean, he gets one of those highlight dunks once or twice every game. He is a big-time athlete.
Yeah, the senior from Baton Rouge. Carey now from 15. Another little fade away from Jalen Carey, showing some offense.
So if he doesn't have to break the press and they find him in the half court, you know, could that be the next guy up for Rhode Island?
And Carey with the steal. I think he might have shuffled the puppies, but instead it's the first Rhode Island lead of the game. Incredible what we've seen transpire in the last 4 minutes.
I thought that was actually really good balance by Carey, being able to almost European sidestep and avoid the steal.
Hollingsworth now into the lane.
You got to kick that earlier if you're Hollingsworth. Frampton was open.
Frampton tries for the alley-oop to Bassey. But both teams, they seem a little agitated with the flow of the game, Mike.
But you're seeing Rhode Island get a little bit of a rhythm. Western Kentucky's going to have to fix that in the half court.
Time now for some fast facts brought to you by Advil. And when you get an arena named after you, Mike, it's for a good reason. And E.A. Diddle deserves that reason. He was an incredible coach at Western.
No question, and that is one of my favorite arenas to call a college basketball game. Some of the smartest college basketball fans I've ever been around is Western Kentucky fans, and it's just a phenomenal tradition. I love the arena, love the atmosphere. I can't wait to get back.
Now Rhode Island, you know, they started 1 for 10. But since they're starting to find the range, and it's another turnover, 8 of 11. If they could eliminate the turnovers, both teams, Mike, really struggling in that department.
No question. I mean, really for Rhode Island, though, that what jump-started this run was Fats Russell. When Rhode Island is taking defense and turning it into offense, that allows them, they're a rhythm team, that allows them to get into more of a rhythm. If you just make them a half-court basketball team, they aren't as talented right now because they're still working through some on-the-court chemistry issues.
Bassey inside, and it's another Western Kentucky turnover. Incredible.
It was really good hedge defense by Harris.
Leggett inside, he'll head to the free throw line.
And this is a kid right here, Leggett, who I think is going to be really good. He was the 4th best shooting guard out of DC. And Ryan, you're a big basketball fan. You grew up a big basketball fan. You know how great DC high school hoops is. And Leggett was the 4th best point guard coming out of the DC area. I mean, this kid has shades of Jeff Doughton. I think he's really under control. He's strong for a freshman, high IQ. He had offers from Wake Forest and Illinois and chose to come to play for Coach Cox in Rhode Island. I mean, this kid is going to be really good for the Rams. Bright future.
And makes 1 of 2. And Rhodey with the 2-point lead. Fats Russell back into the game. Leggett and Johnson. You got to give Johnson a lot of credit. Think about it. 2 for 2 from 3. When Rhode Island was really struggling, Mike, it was DJ Johnson that kind of lifted them off the bench.
Outside of Shepard, Johnson's really the only other guy that can be a knockdown 3-point shooter. So you're right, coming off the bench, that's huge.
And Bassey inside. Got to feel like they got to get him involved, the big man.
Well, the one thing with Rhode Island is maybe more so than other years, they're big and deep in the front court. They can throw a lot of bodies at Bassey.
18 combined turnovers. It has been a struggle. I certainly give the defense credit, but both teams a little sloppy with the basketball. And Coach Cox certainly makes his living with us against the world mentality that he has at Rhode Island. Danny Hurley really brought it there, brought that it's us against everyone, and he has continued that mantra.
It's been a winning culture under David Cox, and it's only going to get better. I think, he has done an absolutely phenomenal job.
Shepard 1 on 4. And he had a cutting carry, didn't take it.
Got a little bit of a matchup zone right now for Western Kentucky.
Harris has been a lightning rod off the bench, no good. And now Western can retake the lead, tied at 22. Anderson to the basket.
Well, that's a really good pass ahead by McKnight, freshman number 20. It may look like a simple play, but passing ahead to a player like Josh Anderson, who thrives in transition, I mean, that gets you more minutes as a freshman. Making those simple, obvious plays get you more playing time. Look, this is simple. McKnight can continue to drive this and just maybe pull it back out in transition, but you give it up to a guy, Josh Anderson, who's probably a top 5 athlete in college basketball. That's what you want to do.
Hollingsworth, another air ball.
He's off. There's no question he is off his game this afternoon. But, you can't relax your Rhode Island because he had a 40-point game last season. He absolutely can get you 15 points in just a few minutes. He's that kind of gifted in the offense.
And Antoine Walker with the nifty pass from Shepard.
He's made a really nice jump from last season to this season in his game. Just his skill set alone, he's much more active and fundamentally sound.
Anderson thought about 3. Instead, takes the 18-footer back, rims it. Now Rhodey looks to push. Martin in the open court, turns it back over. Hilltoppers, the bucket and the foul, Mike.
You know what this feels like right now, Ryan? This feels like the AAU National Championship on a Sunday afternoon when both teams have just been fired up.
We are tied at the diddle. Friday at 7, we crown a champion for Conference USA. Watch as UAB takes on Marshall for this year's title. Catch it all on CBS Sports Network. And certainly, Mike, the SEC up for grabs also on CBS next week. Alabama and Florida. Boy, the Crimson Tide look like they're on their way to another national championship, don't they?
Oh, it probably. That's just par for the course for Alabama football and SEC football. But Kyle Trask can throw that thing, man. You never know.
Well, Western Kentucky opened this game on a 9-0 run to start the game. We question whether we would ever hear Mike O'Donnell, and we question whether Rhode Island would ever score. We now have the answer to both of those, Mike.
Exactly right. And I'm back. Thank you. I know you tried to kick me off, but that's okay. And so is Rhode Island's defense. Their defense has been the catalyst for their offense. It started with Fats Russell, and then you had other players get involved, and I especially think their ball screen defense has been really good to get themselves back into this game.
So the old-fashioned play by Rawls has the Hilltoppers by 1.
That was good patience by Russell getting trapped, not panicking, just a sign of a senior leader guard.
Harris playing a lot of minutes for Rhode Island. Shepard, an off-balance 3.
I like that set for Rhode Island, though. Shepard at the top of the key 3, he can make that.
And Rawls, the one-man fast break. Suddenly Jordan Rawls, the 6'1" sophomore, getting to the basket.
He's one of those players that is quietly very efficient, that does a lot of things well. He's a sophomore, was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. And you feel like he's still trying to find his rhythm. And you also have to remember, he's playing behind a guy like Tavion Hollingsworth. Sometimes just hard to get minutes. This is a time, too, if you're Western Kentucky, you make this free throw. Do you see, you know, a little 3/4 court press to kind of take Rhode Island out of a rhythm, that little rhythm that they've had the last 3 or 4 minutes.
And Rawls has the Western back up by 3.
Here's a little bit of that soft 3/4 court. Just take time off the clock, force Rhode Island out of a rhythm. I'm a big fan of the 3/4 court.
Martin to the basket, no good. Bassey always, you think about the block shots from Western, Cozart and Bassey both providing that rim protection. But both teams, you know, we really talked about this in the game set, Mike. Both teams, they're not afraid to get to the free throw line, to muck it up. And neither team's been great from behind the arc, but they've been getting to the charity stripe.
Well, there's no lack of physicality for either team. Both teams play extremely hard, regardless of score. I mean, that's the way that both head coaches are modeled their coaching style as well, and their players embody that. So each team's going to throw a haymaker, and there might be turnovers, there might be missed shots, there might be miscommunication, but both teams play really hard on defense, and both clubs are veteran clubs. In the second half, I think we'll see a little bit more of a rhythm offensively for both teams.
Now, Hollingsworth yet to get going at all. And Western, in that regard, probably lucky to be in the lead. Anderson from behind the arc. Oh, net.
It was almost picture-perfect defense for Rhode Island on that ball screen defense, but didn't sprint out and contested the shooter for Anderson. Knocked it down.
The high arcer from Josh Anderson. And it is another Rhode Island turnover.
Now, to me, it feels like Fats Russell is waiting.
Coming up, it is the AT&T 5G halftime report. We will talk a little college hoops. What's wrong with Kentucky? 3-game losing streak. 1-4 are the Wildcats.
Go ahead and doubt John Calipari all you want, but he'll have that team figured out come conference play.
And Rhode Island with 10 turnovers as the Hilltoppers back up by 5. Cozart inside, yes. Beautiful pass that time from Hollingsworth, distributing.
Hollingsworth does that all the time. He's got such great touch on the basketball, and sometimes you just can't even teach from a passing standpoint.
An absolute game of runs. Now Western on a 10-1 run. We've seen both teams just completely go ice cold. Now it's Rhode Island again.
Well, Rhode Island needs Fats Russell to get going. He's got to look to be more aggressive. It just feels like he's waiting in the half court. He took a shot in the face.
And another turnover. Hollingsworth thinks about it. Anderson just hit a 3.
It's a good decision by Anderson, not taking a tough 3 in transition.
Hollingsworth up, under, and no. Mitchell the block, now Rhode Island. There's Fats Russell. Great pass inside to Mitchell, who blows the bunny.
And Russell is the last to get back on the other side half court. He's limping. He's hurt.
Well, you know, we talked about just how bad Rhode Island was to start the game. Then all of a sudden they find it, Mike. They take the lead, and now ice cold again. It's another big run from Western.
And you see what happens to Western Kentucky when Tavion Hollingsworth is in the game. The offense is more fluid. It's better. And so that's a good thing, right? You want your senior, you want your heart and soul of the team to calm you down and understand how to orchestrate points in the half court. But when he's out of the game, where does the offense, where does the leadership come from? That's an answer that Western Kentucky needs to find.
And working on that leg of Fats Russell. Boy, it'd be tough sledding without the all A10 point guard. And Rhode Island averages 13 turnovers a game, Mike. They have 11 in the first half. And getting deep into the shot clock again.
And that's the game plan for Western Kentucky. Make them take it late in the shot clock.
Trying to bang the basket. It's Walker inside. He can't hit. No one can find the basket for Rhode Island. Missing from point-blank range. Western can hold for the last shot. Instead, it's another turnover. So now Rhode Island with the last shot.
Yeah, that's a really good timeout by Coach David Cox. And he's doing what he needs to do right now in the first half to manufacture a quick little bucket before you actually go into halftime with some momentum.
Brian Burr back with Mike O'Donnell. It's been a tough one for everyone here in the first half. Ice cold shooting, turnovers from both clubs, some audio trouble. Yep, it is 2020. Eventually, we're going to turn the page. It's going to be 2021, Mike, and I don't know about you, but I can't wait.
I'm having a blast right now. What's the matter with you, Ryan? You get that negativity out of here, man.
All right.
This is a slugfest of a game. Right now, here's what I think is going to happen for Rhode Island. Don't be surprised to see some ball screen action in the half court with Mitchell. You saw Coach Cox trying to drop the play and really isolate Mitchell. You know, a lot of times using some of the shooters as a decoy to get a quick little roll man, a layup. It's something that Rhode Island has done in the previous games. For Western Kentucky, wouldn't be surprised at all if they win zone.
Now for a limited time at Sonic, get a queso burger for just $3.99. Everyone's favorite melty queso, now on a 100% pure beef patty. I'll take two. Big possession for Rhode Island, Mike. You think about it, they haven't scored in forever. You know they get the last shot unless they turn it over again.
No Fats Russell either.
Mitchell, jump hook, got it. 2 on the clock. Hollingsworth, will he get a shot off? He does. Oh, almost. And it is a Western Kentucky 6-point lead at the half. Charles Bassey and Hollingsworth never really got it going, but they still managed to have the 6-point lead. How about the bucket at the end of the half?
That's what you want for Rhode Island. Go inside, make them work, and doing the little things, the dirty things, is what's going to get Rhode Island back into this game. I think it's going to be a good second half coming up.
Welcome back. Time for second half action. Time now to get to the good stuff. Brought to you by Tostitos. And certainly, when you're thinking about good stuff, Mike, in the first half, it was the defense from the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, it was great. And it wasn't exactly just full court pressure defense, get up and deny you. It was more of bait defense. And they baited Rhode Island into way too many turnovers in the half court, and they didn't have to. Their help side defense was great. Their anticipation on steals getting into the gaps was really the difference maker in the first half.
Let's take a look at the first half stats brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. And what sticks out to me for sure, the 11 turnovers for both clubs, 22 in all, really helter-skelter.
Well, there's no question. I mean, both coaches will say, and it's very obvious, we have to limit our turnovers in the second half. For Rhode Island, you know, we saw Fats Russell go out of that game with an apparent injury, and he only had 2 points in the first half. Can Fats Russell get going in the second half, I think, is so important for Rhode Island to get back into the game.
Yeah, where would the offense come from if indeed Fats cannot go in the second half? Turnovers, when you get a game like this where it is so... for 8 shooting slump. So Rhode Island, and there is Fats Russell, will give it a go here. Obviously the leg, you can see the limp, but he is a fighter and going to try to gut it out.
Simple is better, Ryan. If you're struggling offensively, if you're not making your outside shots, if you feel you're out of rhythm, find your defensive mojo. Find your offense inside of your defense. Let that get your rhythm back with more transition opportunities.
All right, ready to go here. Second half from the diddle. Rhode Island trying to get it inside early on, and boy, oh boy, not the way you want to start their 12th turnover of the game. Remember, they only averaged 13.
Carson Williams scoreless in the first half. That's a great little high-low off the ball screen.
Yeah, he's a big body guy that has struggled a bit playing with Charles Bassey. Remember when Williams was at his best, it was when Bassey went out with the injury. So he's used to carving up that space inside, doesn't have that opportunity with Bassey back in the lineup.
And Bassey's a pretty gifted passer, actually. So the more that they can figure out how to utilize high-low action with Bassey and Williams, I think will be a great jump in offensive productivity.
That's Russell, the steal and deal at the other end. Russell really laboring with the leg, but able to try to jumpstart these Rams.
Tough as nails. That's his MO, just tough as nails. Best steal man in the country.
Incredible stuff. Let's see if they can give Rhode Island a lift, as he is really playing on one leg out there, and just a difficult shot from Kenny Cooper, who didn't do much in the first half, comes out and fires up an ill-advised shot. How about Russell on the D?
And this is easy money for Russell. He did that so many times last season when he was second in the country in steals. Gets into the passing lane, ball pressure, weak side help. He has phenomenal anticipation.
Cooper and Williams with the switch. Mitchell inside and blocked by Bassey, the nation's leading block shot artist. Not today.
It's even more impressive. He blocks so many shots on the ball. It's not just great athleticism. You have to have great timing as well. I mean, Charles Bassey gets a lot of credit for how athletic and strong he is, but his basketball IQ defensively is through the roof. He doesn't foul. He has great timing on blocks. I mean, that's one of the many reasons why he's an NBA draft prospect.
Second block of the game for Bassey. And just 5 points, though, as he and Hollingsworth kind of struggling to get things going. And nearly a 4-point play, but Russell will head to the line for three. Fats, as you said, just gutting it out.
One of the best attributes of Fats Russell's game is the ability to draw fouls. He gets to the free throw line a lot. Rhode Island gets the free throw line a lot as a team, and they're actually second in the nation in made free throws and attempts. But Fats does a good job of, it's not always just around the rim. He will bait you into thinking that you can block his shot, but he elevates so well in his jump shot that he ends up creating fouls.
And makes the first two. I think Russell already in the second half, the steal in lay-in, and now an opportunity for 3 free throws to pull the Rams within 1.
If your perimeter shot isn't falling as a team, the best way to chip back into the game is at the free throw line. I mean, Rhode Island as a team is over 70% from the free throw line. They can chip away.
A 7-0 run to start the second half. Fats Russell 5 points, had just 2 in the first half, and that's exactly what Western Kentucky needed. A little boost from Davion McKnight.
I just really like his game. I mean, he just plays so sound as a freshman. He's a strong point guard and turns the corner, gets downhill, gets the and one. Big fan of McKnight's game. I think he's got a bright future.
Shelbyville, Kentucky, he converts the three-point play.
Mr. Basketball of Kentucky.
And the lead goes back to 4. And a little full court pressure again. Martin into the lane, but that's Bassey territory. Give him his third block. McKnight the other way. Bassey in the open court. Thought about throwing it down, but he'll head back to the line.
You want to know why NBA scouts love Charles Bassey? We just talked about the great timing of his blocks. I mean, this is a guy coming back from a serious knee injury. Gets the block on one end. Doesn't foul. Watch him sprint the floor. Look at this. Look at that stride. Are you kidding me? Every general manager, every NBA scout loved that.
And the catch.
No question. No question. Catches everything. I think the two best players, the two best post players in the country at catching everything that's thrown at them, Luka Garza and Charles Bassey.
Now 63%. This is an area that he can improve, but boy, that body, you could tell he is born and ready to play at the next level.
What's crazy is Coach Stansbury said, you know, I think after this injury, they couldn't believe it. He looks more athletic than he did before injury.
And the lead is back to 6. Carey now into the game, trying to take over some of those point guard duties. Near another block by Bassey.
Why do you try? Why would you even try? It's a black hole.
A one-man wrecking crew inside, and Rhode Island continues to take it to the big man.
He almost gets the steal, and you know what's, you watch the timing on his jump, but his hands are so quick too.
Hollingsworth checking Russell. He's got 5 in the second half and a ticky-tack out front.
Yeah, that's a surprising foul by Hollingsworth. He's a little bit more sound than that. Take a look at this. Another block by Bassey. Timing, athleticism, and then almost gets the save. How many 6'10" guys can do that?
123 blocks in his career for Charles Bassey. Switches on the pick and roll. Russell from deep. Front rims it. Bassey clears, and the big man running the court again. McKnight.
Oh, the hezzy. It's dirty. Man, that was smooth.
Yeah, the freshman, 190 pounds. He is thick, and all of a sudden, Western starting to build, much like they did in the first half, coming out having the better of the action. The lead is 8. Danger time for Rhode Island, Mike?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you don't see Fats Russell being aggressive enough in the half court. You know what's interesting with Western Kentucky, I've noticed? It's not always just dunks that ignite this team emotionally. It's Bassey blocks, just like that. Charles Bassey's blocks do an unbelievable job of creating energy.
Oh, at the other end, Bassey cannot convert on the alley-oop, but it is amazing how he has completely changed the second half, given Western looks at both ends.
He's always locked in on the next play, the next possession. He gets the block, and then watch him sprint down the floor. He's the last person. He started last and almost gets the alley-oop.
It is officially a block party in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Bassey dominating the game on the defensive side. The lead is 8. Hollingsworth. Williams got it, and the lead goes to 10. Maybe a timeout, Mike?
Williams got that bucket because he did a good job of posting up on the weak side that allowed the skip pass and overhelp.
A 9-0 run in the last 2 minutes. Danger time for the Rams. Bassey switches on Russell, who's doubled. Walker, much needed 3 from Antoine Walker.
Huge. And he's been a guy that's been able to give Rhode Island some points when they've really needed it. But so far, it's just been Western Kentucky. Their offense is clicking, but it started with the big fella in Bassey.
Ryan Burr back with Mike O'Donnell, second half ready for action, and the big man having his way, Mike.
Well, it's been, like you said, a block party for Charles Bassey, but that's nothing new. This is the leading shot blocker in the country, showing you how it's done. You cannot get anything easy around the rim for Bassey, and it's not like he's getting it from the weak side unexpectedly. These are on-ball blocks. Those are the harder blocks to make. You have to have great timing and athleticism and trust in yourself from a scatter report standpoint.
And so the lead has grown to 10.
Nice.
Williams inside. The big body draws the contact from Walker. And when we come back, it will be Carson Williams heading to the free throw line. Hilltoppers on a run here at home. Join our NFL experts as they break down all of this week's games and give their latest analysis from a quarterback's point of view. Watch NFL Monday QB tomorrow at 6 right here on CBS Sports Network. Undoubtedly talk a little bit about the the Steelers and the Bills tonight, as well as some other great action that we will see this week in the NFL. And we've seen some great action from Charles Bassey. Coming in, we knew he led the nation in block shots, Mike. Now that you see it up close, you can see how he can dominate the game on the defensive end.
When he's, I mean, not just for himself, but when he's blocking shots, don't you notice a different energy for Western Kentucky, especially on the offensive end, and allows them to get out and transition more. And the previous play, I thought, was really, really great action for Western Kentucky. They're actually using Bassey more as a passer and trying to get Carson Williams some post-up isolation plays around the rim to kind of get him going. Coach Stansbury talked about that's a big point of emphasis. You got to get Carson Williams going.
Yeah, 56% for the charity stripe. He bricks both. In essence, a turnover. And now we'll see if Rhode can score in consecutive plays. Carey, a deep three, not his game. Mitchell the rebound. And you have to believe sooner or later the Rams will know, do not go to Bassey. Oh, another one!
Well, you can't try anymore. You have to stop.
Hollingsworth.
What's crazy is every time Bassey hits the floor, he could almost be a threat for a triple-double. Points, rebounds, and blocks.
And Anderson, as Williams started to carve out some space inside. Obviously a great athlete. He's tall, but that's not necessarily why he's such a great shot blocker.
But watch him sprint the floor after the block, though. That's the other thing. He's gone. He's the fastest player on the court after he just makes the most athletic play on the court. That's awesome.
Pick and roll with McKnight. Instead, it's a steal. Leggett the other way, and good.
How shifty is this kid? You know, if you're looking for a player to do something to get you out of an offensive funk, you know, the freshman Leggett could be that guy.
Yeah, and Fats Russell back on the bench. Continue to monitor that. It's Bassey inside, and it will be Williams that corrals the offensive rebound and is fouled on the way down.
Took a hard spill, Carson Williams there, but I've always said I think he's a top 5, just toughest, grittiest player in all of college basketball. Took a shot to the face and hard fall. Did you see Bassey, though?
Yeah.
Fake the handoff, split the screen?
Yeah, he does it all. You could see why some mock drafts talk about him as a top 10 selection. Williams flying to the basket. Josh Anderson with the facial.
Oh, it hurts the soul. That was big time. Woo.
Shepard at the other end, no good. Leggett, his foot was out. How about Josh Anderson, 6'6" senior, so fluid.
I mean, do I look to be in a gaming mood right now? I mean, that is vicious. You're almost angry when you dunk like that, right? I mean, you and I both had that kind of experience on a little Tykes hoop, but not in the real deal.
I mean, I normally just go two-hand.
Yeah, I respect. You're a fundamentally sound player, though.
And it is a turnover. So Rhode Island trying to hang around here. And we'll have to wait and see if Fats is done for the day. It does not look healthy, and not having any work done on him by a trainer, but we'll pay attention to Fats Russell on the sideline. Certainly, he came out with 5 quickies. Little weave motion now. Harris. And Harris draws the foul from Bassey. You know, Harris provided a spark in the first half, Mike.
Yeah, and I like that action, too. You alluded to the dribble weave, but it's kind of false action to get Harris a quick turn and go. Almost an isolation play, getting him to go downhill at the rim. He's so strong, he can make plays at the rim.
Shepard.
We haven't called Shepard's name in a while, and he is a good playmaker. Just been a little too passive.
Walker had him in the corner, missed him.
There's good ball pressure by the Hilltoppers, though, at the top.
Shot
in that
clock
zone.
running down. Carey creates and bricks it off the backboard. Rebound from Bassey. Hilltoppers the other way. Hollingsworth the floater. And look at it, Bassey again. Where did he come from, Mike?
He starts as the last player on the other end of the court, and he beats everybody down the court. He's fast, he's athletic, yes, but his effort right now is the difference maker in this game. No box out. I mean, okay, that is total lack of awareness from a scatter report standpoint. Charles Bassey is the best rebounder statistically in college basketball. You have to know where he is when the shot goes up every single possession and put a body on him.
Well, he is simply taking over the second half of this basketball game.
Through intangibles, not even necessarily just through dunks.
And he will head back to the free throw line.
And that's the difference in his game this season as to opposed of the previous 2 seasons. He's not catching, gathering, and making the pump fake, feeling the defense on his shoulder. That's a high IQ post play. That is just an added skill set to an already impressive game.
And you think about this, something else now working in the favor of the home team. The Hilltoppers already in the bonus with 13 minutes to play.
That's their MO. I mean, their ability to get to the free throw line better than almost anybody in the country. I mean, last season they made more free throws than their opponents even attempted.
The lead is back to 10. I question you, Mike O, for where will the Rams offense come from? Who could possibly help them get back into this basketball game as Bassey makes a pair?
You know, well, Fats Russell is back into the game, and so that needs to be your default answer, is finding creative ways to get Fats Russell in almost isolation and let him go a little bit more one-on-one. You're going to see him come off some screens here, I think, but he has to get going. He's got to be the guy to ignite a Rams run.
Bassey out of the game. So, Mike, how aware are you at the other end that now going to the basket is a possibility?
Not just a possibility, but it needs to be probable. Every single time down the court, you should attack the rim while you've got the big fella on the bench.
And that time it was Mikal Mitchell with the deuce. Williams out front trying to carve out space with that 240 frame. Mitchell closes. You go. DJ Johnson the board. Carey looks to push the other way. Russell with a burst.
Yep.
That's as quick as we've seen him.
Well, also, do you see, you know, there's no hesitation to attack the rim when Bassey's on the bench. And that's not just going to be Russell, but that's going to be the rest of the wings for Rhode Island. You'll see them attack more with Bassey on the bench. I mean, that's an easy call for the referee.
And Mike, you spent most of your time obviously outside, but how aware would you be as an offensive player when that shot blocker supreme left the game?
I take offense to that comment initially. I'm way more athletic than people give me credit for. But yeah, you're just hyper aware of it because, you know, we talked about Western Kentucky's ability to get to the free throw line, but Rhode Island is top 10 in the country in made free throws, and they do a phenomenal job of getting to the line. The problem is when Bassey's on the floor, he doesn't foul. His timing is so good as he doesn't foul, but Western Kentucky's other bigs do. So can you take advantage of that?
And Fats with 7 in the second half to keep Rhode Island in it. Where would they be without those 7? McKnight trying to create on the baseline.
Good defense by Leggett.
Williams thought about 3. And now great ball fake, and well, I'm not sure there was a lot of contact there, but it is enough. Western Kentucky in the bonus will head back to the free throw line. Bassey looking on for that triple-double you talked about, the 5 blocks all in the second half. Ryan Burr back with Mike O'Donnell. Second half action here on CBS Sports Network. 48-41. The home team, Western Kentucky, in the lead by 7. The Mitchell brothers back out on the court. This is Mackay in the first half. Scary moment.
Yeah, it looked like really took a bad spill. We weren't initially sure what happened, but he grabbed his left knee, was in a lot of pain, needed assistance walking off, but he appears to be, he's back near the bench, does have a knee brace on. We don't know if he's going to come back in the game.
What's interesting for sure is the game plan was obviously to throw as many bodies at Charles Bassey as possible, and Mekhi Mitchell a big part of that game plan for head coach David Cox.
There's no question. I mean, you have great depth in the front court. Can you frustrate Charles Bassey by throwing as many guys as you can who don't all play the same and have a different type of post move, each one of them? They just haven't been able to take advantage of it. And
now Carson Williams, 3 consecutive missed free throws. So we'll pay attention to that. A 56% free throw shooter. His inability to knock down at the charity stripe has allowed the Rams to hang around. Leggett, Euro step, got it.
Well, that was a great closeout by McKnight, but Leggett makes just an almost impossible shot fading away. I've been impressed with Leggett. I don't know about you, but I think this kid does have a bright future. He's kind of the next in line behind Fats Russell to take over and lead this program.
44-37. Western in the lead. And Williams has been much more of a focus here in the second half. And inability to connect from short range has Rhode Island back on the move. Great pass from Russell, but Mitchell blows the easy jump tap in.
And that's a play you got to gather yourself and go up and dunk. When you're that big, that close to the rim, a foot from the rim, you got to go dunk that.
So 6-point game. Boy, both teams have had opportunities in the last minute.
You know, again, we mentioned this in the first half, Ryan, with Hollingsworth on the bench. The offense appears to be a little stagnant for Western Kentucky. There's no box out by the Rams.
Williams on the offensive glass. McKnight going to the basket. It will stay Western Kentucky basketball. So give me a quick reset here. Obviously, Charles Bassey dominating the game. He's now on the bench. Fats Russell has been the offense in the second half with 7 for Rhode Island, Mike.
And Fats Russell has to be that guy. You need to see him be more aggressive in the half court. I think the offense needs to be more creative in finding opportunities for him to kind of shake loose, because Western Kentucky has done a really nice job corralling him in ball screens.
And the offensive glass has been, wow, that's going to stay Western Kentucky basketball. This trip, 3-4 shot rebounds on the offensive side.
The first sign of any team when you're lacking effort is the inability to box out. When you get tired and you don't do the little things like boxing out, a team like Western Kentucky will make you pay.
And the Hilltoppers digging into the bench now. 4 reserves on the court for head coach Rick. It's pass inside, but it's a turnover. Stansberry can't like the look of that. DJ Johnson lays it up and in, and all of a sudden Rhode Island hanging around. 9 minutes and change to go, only a 4-point game.
It's really hard for West Kentucky to stay consistent when you've got Hollingsworth and Bassey on the bench at the same time. And they look to be both checking in, but Rams taking advantage, there's no question.
Rawls on the baseline, pretty floater. You surprised Hollingsworth and Bassey are sitting at the same time so much?
Yes, but you're also searching for those last under 10 minutes to try to let them finish these last 10 minutes of the game and give them a breather. I mean, you saw how hard Bassey was running. You needed a couple minutes off.
And William and Mary and George Washington coming your way at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And certainly look at the A10. George Washington, obviously Rhode Island. How do you see that conference breaking down?
You know, I really believe that Richmond and St. Louis, I mean, they're NCAA tournament teams. I think they're going to be locks. I think Dayton, that loss to SMU hurts, but they just beat Mississippi State. I think Dayton, they could be that third team. And then you look at Rhode Island and VCU as two teams that in conference play, could they sneak into the bubble conversation? I think it's possible. The A10 is, it's been talked about nationally. It's extremely deep.
Mikel Mitchell, the turnaround shot, even with Bassey back in the game. Mitchell showing not afraid. And Bassey short at the other end. That's Russell back for the Rhode Island.
Nice.
Johnson all alone. Buckets!
DJ Johnson has quietly had himself a really nice game and has made some big shots when Rhode Island has needed it the most. Just like that, they cut the lead to 1. But Fats Russell's ability to push in transition, make the right play, has proven to be really good these last few minutes. Got the Ram within 1. We got a good one.
We have a good one brewing at Western Kentucky. Charles Bassey, as good as advertised.
He makes it look easy, and I assure you it is not, to get all those blocks on the ball. And then Fats Russell doing a great job taking his defense to create offense. And we've been kind of hard on Fats Russell, but he's quietly had himself a nice second half. And you can see 9 points, 5 blocks, 6 rebounds for Charles Bassey. We throw a little stat at you, Ryan Burr. There are only 30 teams in the country that have more blocks than Bassey does by himself. That's how good he's been.
And these are today's Geico's difference makers, especially here in the second half. The Stars rise into the occasion as Fats Russell supplying the offense and Bassey for the home white, surprisingly, or should I say not surprisingly, dominating the game on the defensive side.
Fats he spent an extended period of time on the bench in the second half. I think it was almost a mental reset by Coach David Cox that says, hey, you need to get yourself back into this game, reset yourself mentally, because we need you in the second half. And you've seen Fats Russell play. I mean, there's 7.5 left in this game. He could easily score 10 points in that time.
Hollingsworth tries to create. Instead, it's DJ Johnson, the unsung hero here, that now has Rhode Island with the basketball down 1. Mitchell. Leggett driving up and in, and Rhode Island has regained the lead.
He doesn't look like a freshman. He has the body type of a senior. He's strong and he knows how to use it.
Here we are on a Sunday afternoon, and it appeared that Rhode Island would need a prayer just to hang around. Now with 7 to go, they have the lead on the road. Where will the offense come from? Rawls takes it to the bucket. It's a jump ball.
Has another really great defensive possession by Leggett. We keep talking about the plays he makes on offense, but he's an extremely underrated on-ball defender.
Ishmael Leggett providing a spark at both ends. Bassey for 3. Not sure your first 3 of the game comes trailing by 1. He's been so good inside.
He does have the green light from Stansbury, though. I agree with you. It's a questionable decision in that possession, but Bassey is capable from the 3-point line.
So Russell, and there's Johnson. And now it is Anderson that will look to push. Best athlete on the floor.
That's a pretty good possession for the Rams, though. Good ball screen action, got an open look.
Rawls inside to the big man, Bassey.
How smooth was that lob from Rawls? I mean, that is a pretty play from Rawls. You throw it up to the big guy. He knows what to do with it.
Just a man among boys inside in the paint as Bassey flexing his muscles at both ends for a 1-point lead. And nearly creates the turnover on the other side.
A savvy play by Shepard to go to the ball.
Shepard a little bit out of control, but how about the big man?
There's a good drive baseline, and then that's such a smart play. You throw it up to the big fella, reward the effort that you saw on the defensive end. You see the seal by Carson Williams, too. He's not scoring like he did last season. We're talking about Carson Williams. Not scoring like he did last season, but his intangibles and his IQ is still there, making plays that don't always show up in the stat sheet.
Now, the videotape of this game will not be shown in any how-tos. 31 combined turnovers. Hollingsworth, he continues to struggle, but no one can contain Bassey. He called for it again. He wanted the alley-oop.
Had him.
Hollingsworth to Bassey. Is he feeling it? 15-footer. And Hollingsworth corrals the offensive rebound, but it's Carey coming the other way. And again, Jalen Carey, an ill-advised turnover. Rhode Island now with numbers. DJ Johnson. And how are the Rams back up by 1, Mike?
This is like an LA Fitness pickup game on a Sunday afternoon. I mean, we've got guys cherry picking on the other end. Man.
So here we go. 4:40 to go. It does not appear. Mitchell with the block, and there finally is Hollingsworth, Tavion Hollingsworth, getting into the scoring column here in the second half as the Hilltoppers go back up by 1.
Rhode Island has a problem of not boxing out. As soon as a shot goes up, if you're a wing for Western Kentucky, I'd be crashing the offensive glass because there are no box out on the defensive side for Rhode Island.
And Mitchell. Jalen Carey now. Jeremy Shepard really having a tough time getting going, and he turns that one over. Would have been a shot clock violation anyways, so it's Western's ball coming back with a 1-point lead.
Look how exhausted both teams look right now. I mean, absolutely exhausted. Coach Stansbury is calling that timeout because his team is tired. They need to find a rhythm, but get back into it. This is a pretty fun ball game. We got a tight one. Stay with us. It's Bassey playing like a monster.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Advil. Pain says you can't. Advil says you can. And by the Queso Burger for just $3.99. Only for a limited time at Sonic.
Six lead changes today. And the second half storylines. Rhode Island has been a second half team all year long. You know, yesterday, Mike, we asked Coach Cox if that was something he was worried about, and he just kind of said, it's kind of the team we are.
Finding gritty ways to win, right? I mean, it's 2020 college basketball, and an ugly win's a lot better than a pretty loss.
Bassey and Harris fighting inside. That's Rawls. Asked for it.
Good help defense by Johnson.
Anderson for 3. Big bucket by the senior. Stepping it up and knocking it down from distance.
And he's not known as a catch-and-shoot shooter, but that was a monster shot by Anderson.
Russell now trying to answer. Difficult shot. Just throws it up there, but give Harris credit. Inside, Jermaine Harris.
Every once in a while, when Harris brings serious effort around the rim, he can be a big difference maker for the Rams.
Well, he has the physicality to go toe-to-toe with Bassey. And that's an ill-advised reach, 25, 30 feet from the basket.
If you were coaching Harris, as you take a look at this catch and shoot, I mean, look at you see the gravity that Charles Bassey creates. I mean, you had 4 Rhode Island defenders so worried about the dunk. You know, Anderson steps up and knocks down an easy rhythm 3. But if you're coaching Harris, you know, you show him tape of Charles Bassey, not the blocks, not the dunks. You show him sprinting the floor. Harris can be that guy for Rhode Island.
Yeah, and Harris just fouled out. That is his, think about that. His 5th personal comes 35 feet from the basket, reaching on a guard.
Individual film sessions, it plays like that. That's how you have to learn and get better. And he's frustrated and he knows what he did wrong, but those just drive you crazy as a head coach.
And you know, you're 35 feet from the basket and you give Western Kentucky 2 easy ones at the foul line, and now the lead is 4, under 3 to go. Seems like a minor miracle that Rhode Island is even in this game, and he's done it again. D.J. Johnson.
Oh, this dude is ice cold. I mean, he's making play after play after play, and that was coming off a single down screen, essentially a pin down on the wing. Catching in rhythm, that's a tough three to make.
Rawls to the bucket and count the basket, so that will go. But D.J. Johnson doesn't get a ton of playing time, but he has been an absolute flamethrower here on Sunday afternoon.
You and I talked before the game. We both feel that D.J. Johnson could be the X factor. As you see, almost gets a piece of that block, but he's got good stretch four ability.
Mitchell and Bassey. 3-point game. 2 to play. Russell deep. Oh, in and out. Fats Russell. Not a great percentage from deep. That one tried to go in and comes out, and now with the ball and a 3-point lead, we'll see how the Hilltoppers elect to go.
Russell has not found his 3-point shooting mark so far this season. He's been inconsistent from the 3-point line.
Anderson to McKnight. Nearly a turnover, Hollingsworth, and he will head to the free throw line. So, boy, for a team that has struggled with turnovers and offensive field goal percentage, they're heading to the free throw line just about every trip now.
Some pretty solid action offensively for Western Kentucky. There was great movement. There was some really good basket cuts at the rim that forced Rhode Island into scramble mode. And Fats Russell was actually caught completely out of position watching the ball, ended up getting the foul.
And Coach Rick Stansberry knows he likes this guy at the line. Tavion Hollingsworth, 70% for the charity stripe. And here is the AT&T game summary. Both teams struggling in the turnover department, but look most notably to me the rebounds.
Yeah, well, Western Kentucky's defense has forced Rhode Island into shooting a lot of contested jump shots, and they've been the better team at attacking the glass and then creating transition opportunities, especially in the second half.
5-point game now. Carey. And a hand check out on the perimeter. You know, Western Kentucky's been in the bonus since the 13-minute mark, and they've had 13 free throw attempts in the second half.
That's what they do. That's their MO. Last couple years, they get to the line just about better than anybody in the country.
Mitchell.
Wow. How good is he at that? I mean, and that's the second time he's done that, where he's drawn a foul at the 3-point line. And he wants the three, and he knows if he's not going to get the three, he's a guy who can get hot quick. Scatter report says you've got to get a hand up. But putting Bassey up in the air, that's the first time I think we've seen Bassey make an ill-advised play on the ball. And
that is the 4th personal foul on Bassey should this game somehow get to overtime. But Russell, a 25% 3-point shooter.
You know, not just the fouls on Bassey, but you know, I would put him in as many pick and rolls as I can in this in these next few possessions for Rhode Island. You want to see if Bassey's going to take any chances. You're in the bonus, I would go right at Bassey.
Now D.J. Johnson takes a breather with 79 seconds remain. Fats to complete the 3rd free throw, fouled beyond the arc by Charles Bassey, and Russell makes all 3. The lead back to 2. We got a timeout on the court. So, all right, let's start with Western Kentucky. 30 seconds, obviously, up 2. Double bonus, which is important, Mike.
So, I would keep it simple. You know, initially, wouldn't be surprised if you saw Hollingsworth and Bassey in the ball screen. But then I'd work the clock. Obviously, you want to work a little bit of time, but you don't want to handcuff yourself on missing any opportunities. When in doubt, you said it earlier, Ryan, they haven't gone to Bassey one-on-one in the post enough. This would be a great possession to do that.
4 personal fouls on Charles Bassey, who for a time here in the second half was just an absolute highlight film at both ends of the court.
Don't be surprised if they go to ball screen action with Hollingsworth and Bassey. You know the gravity that Bassey has with defenders sprinting towards him on the roll. Josh Anderson made a huge three a few minutes ago on the weak side. That could be another opportunity for Western Kentucky. Watch out for that.
Bassey 11-8-5. It is important to point out a weakness in his game, just 63% from the free throw line. Hollingsworth draws the double and able to get out of it. McKnight now, we got numbers the other way. Bassey and Anderson, the senior, able to pull it out and say, guys, let's not get out of hand here. Bassey wanted the alley-oop. Anderson says, let's reset.
Had the skip in the corner to Hollingsworth, was wide open for a three.
Rawls from 16, blocked by Mitchell. Here comes Russell the other end. Up, under, and in. We're tied at 64.
Did you see him go up and under against the best shot blocker in the country? What a play by Fats Russell.
Tied at 64. 20-second difference, shot clock, game clock. Hollingsworth, McKnight, Anderson, and Rawls. 10 on the shot clock. Bassett inside, loses it, gets it back. 4 on the shot clock. Rawls at the buzzer, off the rim, no good, tipped up and in.
You have to find Charles Bassey. He's everywhere. A relentless play by the potential All-American.
Timeout or let him go?
Oh, to me, you let this go. Well, I think we might get a timeout if we don't have a... Oh, got an open look.
Carey on the baseline, draws the contact, and Jalen Carey will head to the free throw line, and most importantly, that is it for Bassey.
I like the no timeout by Coach Cox. You let the guys play. It's been a helter-skelter game. You get initially a monster play by Charles Bassey, who has been all over the court this afternoon. Let the guys play. The defense hasn't been great for West Kentucky in the second half. I think it's a good decision by no call by Coach Cox.
Jalen Carey, the Syracuse transfer, with 5.1 seconds, misses the front end. You miss this intentionally, or do you take the point, Mike?
Take the points, quick foul.
And Carey makes 1 of 2. And a quick sub, veteran play there from Coach Cox to sub in DJ Johnson, stop the clock. And it appears we have a timeout on the court. So Rhode Island down 1. A one-possession game no matter what here. Western with 5.1. Are you going for a steal, or do you just follow suit no matter who gets it as quickly as possible?
Well, for great defense, you try to do both. You know, DJ Johnson's been really, really good. Not just in the first half, in the second half, he's knocked down some big threes. He's a great stretch four for Rhode Island, and really kind of brought back the Rams late in the second half with a couple big threes. But you simplify your thought process. You know, for Western Kentucky, you know that Rhode Island's going to press, and when you're Rhode Island in your press, as you're fouling, you go for the steal. You want to do both at the same time with 5.1 seconds left. That's the kind of frame of mind. Down 1 with less than 10 seconds on the clock. Go for the steal as you're fouling.
And most importantly, it is the double bonus for Western Kentucky. So no matter what, that foul you're talking about will bring 2 shots at the other free throw line. 5.1 to go. 66-65. Sloppy affair. One of these two teams is going to walk out with a big non-conference December win. Charles Bassey, star of the game. He's fouled out, dominating the second half on the glass. He leads the nation in both block shots and total rebounds. He'll have to watch should this thing somehow negotiate its way to overtime. Full court pressure, as Mike indicated. The foul has to come quick. Rawls to inbound. Get it to Hollingsworth, and the foul by Carey with about 0.8 coming off the clock.
If you're not getting a steal, that's best case scenario for Rhode Island. You have to foul right away. You know, and really if you're Western Kentucky too, after these free throws, if you make the second free throw, you're probably hopping in some type of three-quarter court token pressure.
So in the double bonus, 70% free throw shooter, the senior. Hasn't had a great game, but I'm not sure Coach Stansberry would pick any other player to head to the line than Hollingsworth.
Yeah, we're saying Hollingsworth hasn't had a great game. He's got 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. You know, that's a good game for a lot of point guards across the country. But that just goes to show you his talent and the fact that how much of he's the heart and soul of this team. I mean, right now, you could tell, I think you see it, Ryan, both teams are gassed, right? And with 4.3 on the clock, if you decide to make this free throw, you're going to see some type of token pressure for Western Kentucky. The ball has to go to one of the fastest players in college basketball, in Fats Russell.
So 4.3 to go. Western Kentucky with a 2-point lead. You take a look at the basketball still to come this week on CBS Sports Network. And I'll tell you what, if these three have a finish like we're having today, Mike, we're in for a good week on the network.
It's been great. 2020 for CBS Sports College Basketball. There's nothing better. How good is, by the way, San Diego State, right? Everybody thought they were going to be down. Fantastic season. I mean, they're a top 25 team at least right now.
So Hollingsworth goes to the line for the second. Western Kentucky just used their final timeout. So Stansberry, no more timeouts. Bassey out of the game. Hollingsworth to make it a 3-point game. And do you foul, Mike?
No. I don't foul in this possession.
Play it out. Fats Russell down 3. There's the foul.
I get that. I understand that. But, you know, the reason why I said no, I didn't want to talk over what was happening. If the ball is in Fats Russell's hands, he's so gifted at drawing foul that he's the type of guy that was going to try to almost shoot it there from half court. Some guys just don't have the knack of drawing fouls in the shooting motion. I understand where the ball was. I understand that it didn't look normal for him to shoot from half court, but I'd hate putting Russell on the line for 3 free throws.
All right, 1.9 to go now. Russell's been very good at the line here in the second half. It's a straight 1-and-1. He misses, and that's the ball game. Western Kentucky survives at home here on a Sunday afternoon. Coach Stansberry knows he got away with a tight one. He and wrote Coach Cox some words there in the new COVID, but boy, oh boy, it was sloppy at times. It was ugly at times, Mike. But it was a good one down the stretch.
And you had other guys for Western Kentucky step up. Rawls with 11 points. Anderson with 15. Hollingsworth did have 14, but how good was Charles Bassey? Performed like an All-American.
As good as advertised. So it is Western Kentucky improving to 5-2 for Mike O'Donnell and our entire crew. I'm Ryan Burr. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. So long from Western Kentucky.